exact routines are linked to increased vascular stress, nighttime hypertension, and sleep-related strokes in adults over 60. Now, before we go deeper, pause for a second. Think of someone you love, a sibling, a spouse, a friend. If they're over 60, they might be making the same mistake. So I ask, if this information could protect them or even save their life, wouldn't you share it? This isn't about scaring you. It's about showing you that the problem isn't age, it's unawareness. Because once you recognize the habits and understand how your body reacts to them, you gain control again. You shift from being a passive victim to an active protector of your own health. So stay with me. Don't miss the end, because the second habit, revealed later, is one of the most widespread, yet least talked about killers in senior health. But first, we need to address the habit that starts it all, the nightly trigger that silently raises your blood pressure and pushes your heart to the edge. It happens almost automatically. You brush your teeth, turn off the lights, maybe check your phone one last time, and then, without even realizing it, you commit one of the most dangerous health mistakes for someone over 60. You lie down immediately after eating. This habit, so ordinary, so innocent, is quietly placing immense strain on your cardiovascular system. Why? Because digestion is not a passive process. It demands blood flow, intense, redirected, and immediate. And when your body is forced to process food while you lie flat, it begins to send mixed signals. Your blood pressure must adjust, your heart must work harder, and the vessels in your neck and brain become more vulnerable. The Korean National Stroke Research Center recently published data revealing a 27% increase in nighttime blood pressure. Spikes among adults over 60 who habitually eat within 2 hours of going to bed. That might not sound dramatic until you realize that elevated nighttime blood pressure is a silent predictor of strokes that occur between 3 and 6 a.m., when most people are completely unaware. And here's where the real danger lies. Your body doesn't alert you with sirens. Instead, it whispers. Shallow breathing, a racing heart as you lie still, slight nausea, restlessness. You might toss and turn, not knowing that your body is battling to keep balance under pressure. You may think you're struggling with insomnia, when in fact, your circulatory system is fighting a war. Now imagine this happening every night for years. The cumulative damage begins to reshape your vascular health. Microtears in arteries, thickening of the blood, reduced oxygen flow to the brain. And you feel it, subtly, more fatigue in the morning, heavier legs, and that creeping sense that something's not right. Doctors often refer to this pattern as nocturnal hypertension, and it's especially dangerous because standard daytime blood pressure readings may appear normal. It's what happens in the dark, when no one is watching, that sets the stage for a life-altering event. Let's take a simple example. Mr. Lee, a 68-year-old retiree from Busan, South Korea. Healthy, active, no history of major illness. Every night after dinner and a cup of tea, he would lie on his sofa, watch TV for an hour, then head to bed. He thought he was relaxing, but he wasn't. After 3 months of this routine, he suffered a minor stroke at 5:30 a.m. His doctors linked it directly to chronic post-meal pressure spikes, easily avoidable if only he'd allowed his body time to digest. So, what should you do? First, create a gap of at least 2 to 3 hours between your last meal and bedtime. Second, after eating, take a slow 10-minute walk, not a power walk, just gentle movement. This allows digestion to begin while your circulatory system remains stable. And finally, elevate your head slightly when you sleep. Even a 10-degree incline can ease blood flow and reduce pressure in the brain. This isn't just about preventing discomfort, it's about preventing tragedy. Because the more you respect your body's nighttime rhythms, the more it will protect you. But disrespect them, and even your dreams won't be safe. So remember, food is medicine, but timing is the prescription. Don't let an innocent habit become your silent enemy. There's something sitting in your kitchen right now. You've eaten it hundreds of times, maybe even tonight. It's small, convenient, and often marketed as healthy for seniors, especially before bed. But this one food, when consumed at night, may be setting your blood vessels on fire from the inside. We're talking about refined carbohydrates, most commonly white bread, crackers, sweet biscuits, or even low-fat cereals. That light snack you reach for after dinner or just before bed. It could be the exact reason your blood vessels are inflamed, your pressure is climbing, and your sleep feels more like survival than restoration. When you consume refined carbs in the evening, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. In a younger body, insulin works efficiently to control this rise, but after 60, insulin sensitivity often declines. The result? Extended periods of high blood sugar during the night. And that sugar doesn't just sit there, it acts like sandpaper. against your blood vessels, triggering an immune response. The body sends out inflammatory markers to protect you. But instead of helping, this internal alarm stiffens your arteries and agitates your heart. According to a large cohort study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, elderly adults who consume high glycemic foods before bed had double the risk of nighttime blood pressure surges and significantly higher levels of C-reactive protein, a key indicator of systemic inflammation and stroke risk. But why does this happen at night? Because your body is meant to rest and repair during sleep. Introducing sugar at this time forces your pancreas, liver, and heart into a state of high alert. Your sympathetic nervous system, responsible for fight or flight responses, stays partially active. Your parasympathetic system, meant to induce calm and healing, is suppressed. And here's the cruel paradox. Many seniors eat these snacks because they think it will help them sleep. Just a little cookie, a slice of toast, some cereal with low-fat milk. The comfort is real, but the damage is silent. Let's visualize it. Imagine your arteries as soft, flexible garden hoses. When you sleep on an empty stomach, they rest, relax, and regenerate. But when you eat refined carbs, those same vessels swell slightly. The walls become irritated. The lining, called the endothelium, begins to stiffen. Night after night, this pressure builds, until one day, without warning, a clot forms and doesn't move. This is how silent strokes begin, not with pain, but with repetition. To be clear, not all carbs are the enemy. The issue isn't just what you eat, it's when and how refined the food is. Whole foods like oats, chia pudding, or a banana with almond butter affect the body differently than white bread or cookies. These slower digesting options maintain a steady release of glucose and allow the body to remain in balance. If you're going to eat at night, choose foods that lower inflammation, not raise it. Think anti-inflammatory fats, like walnuts or olive oil, magnesium-rich options, like pumpkin seeds, or even herbal teas that relax the vascular system. Remember, the goal isn't to never snack again. The goal is to understand your body's rhythm. At 60, 70, or 80, it doesn't process food like it did at 30. Your metabolism has changed, but your power hasn't. When you eat with intention, you reclaim that power. You calm the fire within. So before you reach for that harmless biscuit tonight, ask yourself, is this helping my body recover? Or is it inviting pressure to rise in the silence of sleep? Choose wisely, because your brain, your heart, and your freedom depend on it. It doesn't happen like the movies. There's no dramatic fall, no instant blackout, no flashing lights. When a stroke is building inside your body, it speaks in whispers, subtle, nagging, easy to dismiss signs that creep into your nights and your mornings, until one day everything changes. You might think it's just your leg falling asleep, a strange tingling in your fingers, that sensation when you wake up and one side of your body feels slightly off. Maybe your foot drags a bit, maybe your speech feels slower in the morning, and maybe you tell yourself it's just aging. But aging doesn't cause asymmetry, it doesn't cause isolated weakness, and it doesn't make you forget simple words or feel disoriented for a few seconds after waking. These are not random quirks, they are neurological distress signals. Your brain is trying to tell you something. The circulation that once moved freely through its network of delicate vessels is now struggling, fighting, narrowing. Here's the truth most seniors are never told. A stroke doesn't always begin in the brain. Sometimes it begins in the legs, in your calves, in your toes, in that feeling of heaviness when walking upstairs. When your blood is thick, your vessels stiff, and your heart is strained, your lower extremities are the first to show signs of poor circulation. And when blood flow becomes compromised down there, it's only a matter of time before the same issue travels upward. 2022 study published in The Lancet Neurology found that over 60% of elderly stroke victims had experienced circulation-related symptoms like leg pain, dizziness, or unexplained fatigue in the weeks or months prior to their event. But the tragedy? Most never mentioned it. Not to family, not to doctors. They assumed it was normal. Let's make this personal. Have you felt a strange chill in one leg but not the other? Do your fingers feel clumsy in the morning? Have you noticed your balance is just slightly off, especially in low light? These are not accidents. They're clues. Even your emotions can change. Increased anxiety at bedtime, a feeling of dread as night approaches, not because of a nightmare, but because your body knows it's going into battle again. A night of poor circulation, a night of pressure. And here's something rarely discussed: mini strokes, also known as TIAs. transient ischemic attacks. These are warning strokes, where blood flow to the brain is temporarily blocked, but the body recovers quickly. No major damage is done, but that doesn't mean you're safe. In fact, over 1 in 3 people who experience a TIA will suffer a major stroke within the year, many within the first 90 days. The body always gives you a heads up, but it's quiet. That's why awareness is power. So how do you listen better? Start by tracking your mornings. Do you wake up with a headache behind one eye? Is one arm slower than the other to stretch out? Do you struggle to grip your toothbrush or miss buttons while dressing? These small signs, when connected, can spell something urgent. Don't wait for collapse. Respond to the whispers, because when it comes to stroke prevention after 60, timing isn't just important, it's everything. You won't find this habit on your medical chart. It won't show up in a blood test. Your doctor might never even ask about it. But make no mistake, it's there, quiet, consistent, deadly, and after 60 it becomes one of the most underestimated risks for stroke in the entire aging process. The habit? Sleeping with your neck compressed. That's right, the way you position your neck at night, especially if you sleep in a recliner with multiple pillows or tucked into a tight posture, can significantly restrict blood flow to the brain. Night after night, that subtle compression adds up. What feels like comfort may be cutting off the one thing your brain needs most during sleep: oxygen-rich blood. Let's break it down. As you age, the arteries that run through your neck, the carotid and vertebral arteries, become more vulnerable. They're narrower, less elastic, more prone to blockages. And when you sleep with your head pushed forward, chin to chest, or turned too far to one side, these vital arteries are slightly pinched. It may not feel dramatic, but over time, it reduces cerebral perfusion. The brain gets less blood, less oxygen, and less clearance of toxins. This isn't theory, it's measurable. A 2021 study in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that elderly patients with poor neck posture during sleep had reduced nighttime cerebral oxygenation by as much as 22%, increasing their risk of microinfarcts, tiny, undetected strokes that accumulate over time and silently erode memory, balance, and motor skills. Worse still, this position triggers something called baroreceptor dysfunction. Baroreceptors are pressure sensors in your neck that regulate heart rate and blood pressure. When your neck is compressed or twisted unnaturally, these sensors send the wrong signals. Your heart may beat irregularly, your blood pressure may spike, and in the silence of sleep, your body enters a dangerous rhythm, erratic, unbalanced, and primed for disaster. Now consider this. How many nights have you dozed off in a chair? How many times have you curled into a tight ball on your side with 2 pillows stacked high under your head? These positions might feel cozy, but for aging arteries, they are suffocating. Let's bring this closer to home. Mrs. Kwan, a 74-year-old widow from Seoul, had no major health conditions, but she often napped in her favorite chair, head slumped forward. Her blood pressure was fine during the day. Her cholesterol was normal, but she began having memory lapses, mild confusion, and trouble finding her words. A brain scan revealed dozens of tiny infarcts, evidence of long-term oxygen deprivation. Her neurologist traced it back to nocturnal hypoperfusion caused by poor neck positioning. This is how strokes begin, not with drama, but with repetition. So what can you do? First, evaluate your pillow. If it raises your head above a natural angle, replace it. Use orthopedic or cervical pillows that support the natural curve of your neck. Second, avoid falling asleep in recliners or sofas unless your neck is fully supported. And third, if you wake with stiffness, numbness, or foggy thinking, it's time to listen. Your brain is signaling distress. One of the greatest acts of self-care in your 60s and beyond is how you sleep. Not just the hours, but the posture, because your brain doesn't shut down at night. It heals, it clears, it restores, but only if you let blood flow freely, without compression. You can't control everything, but you can control how you position your body when it needs healing most. And sometimes, the smallest shift, just a few degrees of elevation, can be the difference between erosion and protection, between confusion and clarity, between stroke and survival. You've seen the truth. It's not age stealing your strength, it's 2 habits that crept into your routine and quietly attacked your circulation when you were most vulnerable. But here's the good news, your body isn't broken, it's responding. Every night it's trying to adapt, to repair, to survive, and starting tonight you can help it thrive again. It begins with correction, not perfection. Stop eating late. Give your body 3 hours to digest before sleep. This one change lowers nighttime insulin, reduces blood pressure spikes, and allows your organs to enter true recovery mode. You'll wake up with fewer cramps, less bloating, and a clearer mind. Your heart rate evens out, your vessels stop fighting digestion and start healing. Then, fix your sleep posture. No more slumping into sofas. No more stacking pillows like cushions on a throne. Support your neck, align your spine, give your arteries room to deliver blood to your brain without resistance. The moment you stop compressing your neck is the moment your brain starts breathing freely again, every single night. Now pause. These aren't extreme interventions. They're not medications or surgeries, but they shift something much deeper, your body's baseline. Because for most people over 60, the baseline has become fatigue, heaviness, and confusion. That's not aging, that's suffocation. And when you remove what's suffocating your system, everything starts to come back. Your mobility, your energy, your presence. When blood flows, you return to yourself. And that's the real gift here. Not just preventing a stroke, it's recovering. The simple joys, waking up with balance, standing without gripping furniture, walking without fear of falling. You begin to move with trust again. And with every pain that fades, your dignity returns. You're not meant to be fragile. You're not meant to break in silence. You were built for resilience, and that hasn't expired. Thousands of seniors around the world have reversed years of circulatory damage by fixing just two things: what they eat before bed and how they sleep. This is how health works. Slowly, quietly, powerfully, like water clearing a blocked riverbed. So don't wait until collapse. Start tonight. Eat earlier. Sleep smarter. Choose oxygen. Choose blood flow. Choose life. Because this isn't about chasing youth. It's about protecting your brain, your legs, your independence. It's about waking up tomorrow and feeling something you haven't felt in years. Relief, control, hope. That's what freedom looks like. And it begins with your next decision. Now let everything settle. No rush, no noise. Just you and your body, ready to restore what time and habit once threatened to take away. You've faced the truth. Two small nightly choices have the power to shape your future, not with panic, but with clarity, not with fear, but with intention. So take a breath, close your eyes if you want. Imagine yourself waking tomorrow morning. No dizziness, no fog, no silent panic behind your eyes, just breath, steady, calm. Legs that feel grounded, arms that move with ease, a body that doesn't flinch when standing. That's not fantasy. That's your biology, finally allowed to heal. And from that healing comes a ripple, more energy, more clarity, more confidence to walk without watching your every step. You're not chasing your younger self. You're caring for the one who carried you this far. So tonight, eat earlier. Let your stomach finish its work before your heart begins its rest. And when you lie down, let your head be held, not bent. Let your neck stay open, your vessels free. Let oxygen go where it needs to go. Let blood return to your brain like a tide coming home, because healing is not loud. It begins in silence, beneath the noise of the world. While everyone sleeps, you begin again. With every beat, your body remembers what balance feels like. So, choose to protect your sleep, not because you're old, but because you're alive, and every day alive is another chance to move freely, think clearly, and live without fear. You deserve that. You always have.